This week on Two Noobs, apparently scientists hate to admit when they're wrong and will drag their feet when confronted with conflicting data. Yikes. Then, what in the world is going on north of the border in Ottawa? We look at some recent penalties handed down upon the Ottawa Senators. Next, thought we were done with Wally, the emotional support alligator? He's back. And with an unlikely orange partner, John cringes. Finally, how you tip on DoorDash might screw with your order. Even more. I'm wearing pants. Start the music. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have played a full regular season of baseball with episode 162 of Two Noobs Talking. Can you believe it?
Did we make the wild
single
card?
day off. Over here, we got Jazzercise John Tracy. How's that? Then over here, we got Muscle Milk Matt Craig. And I in the middle, and I'm Stuff Your Face Steve Murray.
Good work out of you.
There you go.
But anyway, it is Two Noobs Talking. It is episode 162. We're here to entertain and other fun stuff. And the whole I'm wearing pants thing. It's just because you can only ever see me from the waist up. So I know inquiring minds want to know. I am decent.
I'm so happy to know that. I am so happy to know that.
I'm glad you need to know. Mr. John, how are you, sir?
I am great. Nothing really to say over here.
Are you wearing pants?
Yes.
Thank God.
I have been all day.
All right. Good. Me too. Mr. Craig, on the other hand,
probably not.
He's got the shades on. He's looking awfully shady.
Yeah, I've been temporarily blinded by John before we were, before we started the record. That'll be part of my over 40 rant. I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, thank you. But yeah, Steve, you and I had lunch today. It was pretty cool.
Did.
Yeah,
we did. It was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Hockey brought me out that way, and so we sat down and had some Chick-fil-A to commune on. It was very, very nice.
Heck yeah.
Some non-fat
Found some very interesting things about ingredients, and it was fantastic. Yeah,
that's for damn sure. And the chocolate milkshake took me about a half an hour to get through.
Could imagine.
The straw kept collapsing on me.
That was brutal. Yeah,
but it was a good milkshake.
It was good. Yeah, always.
Gentlemen, the most controversial subject came up this week. And I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but it's making the rounds, and I'm sorry to say I have to agree with New Yorkers on this one. Scooped bagels. What the hell?
Yeah.
You aware of this?
No.
So
Scooped bagels.
Some LA genius was in New York City, went to it and on TikTok.
You're kidding.
Of course.
Indicated he went into a bagel shop in New York City, asked for a scooped bagel, and apparently was told something to the effect of, "Get the F out of here. I ain't scooping your bagel for you."
Sounds legit.
I had to look up what a scooped bagel was.
Yeah.
It is a bagel that you basically scoop the insides out of.
Oh,
okay.
What?
So I have to agree with my New York brethren. Get the F out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not scooping your freaking bagel.
Yeah. Like, what's the point? What's the
exactly
point? Like, that's not a bagel anymore. It's like a shell of a bagel. Scooped bagel. What is the world coming to?
But LA's probably so stupid they scoop the bread out and put other shit in it. And it's probably even worse for you what they put inside of it, and because they're stupid.
I lay this solely on the feet of Gavin Newsom. You're an idiot. I swear to God, when you have people coming from Los Angeles to New York saying, "I want a scooped bagel," they are out of their damn minds. Thank you very much.
Bagel for me, sir.
Yeah.
Is it plant-based?
We want to hear that. Good Lord, that's another down a rabbit hole I don't even want to go.
Scooped bagels are hereby declared illegal by Two Noobs Talking.
Yep.
Exactly.
there you have it.
Just so you, next week there is a spread bagelry that's not far from my place.
Nice.
Next week, I will have a full-on bagel, and I will have it, eating it.
Damn straight.
Not
episode
scooped.
163. Not scooped. Full legit.
I'll eat a bagel if it's absolutely necessary, but I don't even like them. But I totally agree. You don't scoop the bagel.
No, you don't scoop the bagel at all. No.
Yeah. That's like I'd like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with just the crusts. Take the
just dipped in peanut butter and jelly.
Right.
Yeah. Just cut the crust, and I'll take that.
Yeah, it's the opposite of cutting the crusts off. You take the white stuff out of the bread and just leave the crust.
Just throw the peanut butter right on the countertop and
lick it off.
That's what happens when you're from LA. It's
all right.
You lost your damn mind? Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, why don't we get into the fun fact and over 40 rant now that we've had our fun? And you can have your fun with W Energy Drinks. Visit W.GG. That's DUBBY.GG. Enter the promo code 2 Noobs Talking, TOONOO BZZ Talking. Get 10% off your order. Don't say we never did nothing for you. John will hand mix it. And
there you go.
And throw it at your head.
He'll pour it into your scooped bagel.
And then throw it at your head.
All right, Mr. Tracy, please present with the fun fact, sir.
Okay. A little NFL hate here. You will hate them after I tell you this. So it takes 3,000 cows to supply the amount of footballs they need for a full season.
Wow. 3,000 cows.
The amount of leather they use equates to 3,000 cows.
That's crazy.
It's a lot.
I'm frankly surprised they still use real leather for them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I would have thought at this point they'd be using artificial material.
It is the NFL, so I mean, it is
just genuine cow leather, like it's probably from Roger Goodell's own farm. Probably.
Well, there probably is an underground There probably is an underground basement at 345 Park Avenue, John. I mean, I'm just saying, there's probably something in there.
Probably.
You're not allowed in, you're not allowed out, that kind of a deal. Once you're in, you're in.
They ring their cows through a juicer and pull out the leather for the footballs.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Quite the abattoir they have there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that disgusting fact, Mr.
Not a problem.
Speaking of disgusting, Matt's got quite the disgusting over 40 rant that we plotted earlier today.
Yes.
Chick-fil-A. And it doesn't actually have anything to do with, well, wait, are you going to do the sauce?
No, I'm not going to do the sauce.
Just
I'm actually going to do the bottle of water. Yeah.
Okay, so then it doesn't have anything to do with Chick-fil-A other than the fact that they serve this water.
Yeah, exactly.
So I turn it over to Mr. Craig.
So this is not sponsored by Dasani bottled water. I happen to buy this as my drink. Basically I like water more than I like soda.
Mm-hmm.
Although after reading the back of this, I might just want to maybe rethink this.
Let me just preface this by saying I fully expected the ingredients listed on that bottle to be water.
Water only.
Yep, me too.
Period.
So this says Dasani purified water enhanced with minerals for a pure, fresh taste. Which is ironic because if it's purified water, there should be no minerals in it. So what are they doing putting minerals back in? So I looked further. The ingredients, gentlemen, of Dasani bottled water are the following. Purified water. Makes sense.
So far, so good.
So far, so good, right? Magnesium sulfate.
Okay, because,
not so good.
Because that's needed in water.
Yeah. Potassium chloride, which I found out later, a little bit larger quantities could be toxic. And salt.
Salt in water.
And they have an asterisk after the last three. So purified water is legit. There's nothing added for taste. You don't add taste to water. Mm-hmm. But with the last three, there is an asterisk that says minerals added for taste, manufactured for the Coca-Cola Company, Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go. So my over 40 rant is, what the hell with this purified water nonsense? I don't want additional minerals in my purified water.
Well, tell John, because I don't think he's heard the story yet. So my son was at the lunch with us because it was his talkie that drove us out there. Tell him what he said when you showed him the magnesium, whatever it was.
What did he say? He said something along the lines of, I don't want to drink that, or something like that. It's just like this powdery substance, white powdery substance. Watch out, Michael Irvin. But white powdery substance on it. And it was scary. It was like, oh my gosh.
I like how it's minerals added for taste, and they don't specify what those minerals are. I'm like, well, lead's a mineral, right? You mind that.
Now,
uranium-235 is a mineral, right? You can mind that.
Whatever they have on hand, I'm not going to tell you. You shouldn't know. It's wherever we got it.
Side note for the sunglasses. Yeah, side note for the sunglasses. While I'm wearing it, John blinded me. Sending a text of the Los Angeles Kings wearing chrome helmets. I'm now.
Those are the ugliest things I've ever seen on a hockey rink. I have to say.
It's ridiculous. I'm now temporarily blinded. John, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Definitely.
Who thought that was a good idea?
I did.
Like, seriously.
Maybe Gavin Newsom. I mean, if he takes everything from LA, I mean, that's his fault then.
Damn it! What is? Oh my god!
It's about as shiny as Matt's Dasani water with all those minerals.
Getting blinded all over the place, guys. Just watch out, okay? Just just be careful. Be careful out there.
By the way, as I told you when we were at Chick-fil-A, I had a bottle of Giant brand water in my car. That I brought with me from home. And after our lunch, when I got back in the car, first thing I did was pick up that water bottle to see the ingredient list.
To check it.
There was no ingredient list because it's just spring water.
Just spring water.
That's important.
Spring water.
Unbelievable. I'm sure they probably filtered it through, though. They probably didn't tell you that. Well, they didn't tell you that in the bottle, so there you go.
I think it did say filtered. Now you want me to go back, but I threw it away.
See?
So,
You can't trust these companies, Steve.
Hey, at least they didn't. At least they weren't putting lead back into the water. Okay.
Well, that's true. Yeah, and magnesium sulfate and whatever. Yeah,
right.
That's exactly what I need.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of magnesium sulfate and all things scientific,
great
segment. I try. I really do. We have a live science article for topic 1.
Ooh.
What the hell, gentlemen? Scientists finally acknowledged that they got their solar cycle predictions wrong and that we are fast approaching the sun's explosive peak.
Oh boy.
Scientists forecasting solar weather have finally acknowledged that their prediction for the current solar cycle was way off. The researchers now say, we're to repeat the headline.
They're good at.
All right. The sun is constantly in flux. Roughly every 11 years, our home star cycles from a period of tranquility, known as solar minimum, to a peak of solar activity known as solar maximum. Duh. When dark sunspots cover the sun and frequently spit out powerful solar storms. The sun's current cycle, solar cycle 25, officially began in early 2019. At the time, the National Atmospheric and Oceanic Administration, or NOAA's Space Weather Prediction Center, SWPX, an expert panel made up of NOAA and NASA scientists predicted that solar cycle 25 would most likely peak at some point in 2025 and be underwhelming compared with average cycles. However, other solar scientists soon realized that the sun was not following SWPX's predictions, and in June this year, Live Science revealed that solar activity had been ramping up quicker than expected. And Matt's going to plot the graph here, and that I'm pointing to remind you in post-production to put it
right
there
or somewhere. Okay, cool.
Yeah. On October 25th, the SWPX finally issued a revised prediction for solar cycle 25 and acknowledged its initial estimations were no longer reliable enough for SWPX's customers, such as private space exploration and satellite companies. It is unclear why these predictions were wrong or why it has taken this long for scientists to update their forecasts, despite warning signs coming for years. For instance, in 2020, a group of scientists led by Scott McIntosh, a solar physicist and deputy director of the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Colorado, used historic sunspot and magnetic field data to predict the solar maximum would be more active and arrive sooner than expected.
Mm.
Matt, repeat that word again you used.
Fauciitis? Yeah.
Okay, dictionary definition, if you please.
Oh, Fauciitis is a very deadly disease. It basically comes along once every, pandemic, which is probably once every 100 years. It is a very, very deadly disease. It affects your brain more than anything else. It affects every common sense sense that you possibly could have. That's what I said. Common sense. See, I even suffer from Fauciitis every once in a while.
There you go.
It's that magnesium
Which is
sulfate
terrible.
getting your
But,
brain.
gentlemen, I do have a good remedy for us, and that is Too Noobs. If you take 2 episodes of Too Noobs every day, you're free of Fauciitis. So just so you know in regards to this. But now on to the serious side of things. Not surprised. When I looked at it, it was an absolute perfect bell curve. Did you notice that, gents? It was literally just up and down. It was like, okay, we're doing the lean 6 thing. This is going to be great. And then the actual data was like, what the heck's going on? It's not even close.
Well, it was climbing faster and higher than the bell curve.
Exactly, which is brilliant.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It only did it once. It'll never. Oh, it did it again. Did it a third time. Still nothing to see here.
I mean, I would love to see the theory of this, but with the solar flare-ups and everything, I wonder if that is a contributing factor towards global warming out there. No. I don't know. It is not. Okay. I just was, you never know when you have something like that happen with the solar, we're going through all those cycles and everything. You never know. But if it isn't, then it isn't. But yeah, it's not a surprise. Government's not, accurately predicting.
It's a branch of the weather NOAA who is wrong 70% of the time anyway.
Yes.
So
strongly
it's not a surprise
70%.
that they're wrong. Yeah, strongly 70%. I think, John, the issue here is more not so much that they got the prediction wrong. I mean, it happens, but that it took so damn long for them to acknowledge that they were wrong.
Oh, it did.
Am I right?
Just from seeing the actual data to what they thought, and just as not even understanding what the article was really getting into, just that picture, I went, oh, that's just neglect. Like they weren't even looking at it. Like, it's fine. It moved again. We'll push it off to next year. We'll talk about it.
Don't worry about it.
Next year meeting, it's fine. It's only done it 4 times, so there's no way.
Year's problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's future year's problem. We don't have to worry about that now. You say.
What do you think is behind this hesitancy to? I realize Fauci wants us to trust the science, and science is infallible. But it obviously isn't.
Yeah,
case in point. But why wouldn't you say, it looks like it's worse than we predicted? We better update our findings and predictions so that the people who rely on this stuff are properly informed.
For one thing, that would take humility. And when's the last time you've had humble people in office at any sort of administrative position? Never. I've never seen it. Not in my lifetime, ever. I don't know. I think that's part of the equation here, if we're being honest, gents. When you create a model and the model is fundamentally flawed or broken, it is okay to admit we had a fundamental flaw in the modeling and it was broken, and we are now going to correct this so we can understand and learn what the heck's going on with the sun. But you don't see that. You see a course correction. You see something along those lines where there is a lack of humility, a lack of apology. Oh, well, there's something wrong with the system. We didn't plug it in right, or something along those lines. So yeah, I think that's the long and the short of it.
Probably has to do with funding too, because you don't want to. Someone that is applying for funding doesn't want to come off like they're an idiot. So if their model is completely like, you got the funding person going, wow, dude, you missed. Like you didn't, you didn't even. Damn. Be like if we signed Bryce Harper for $3 million, he never hit a home run. Wouldn't we get suspect after a while? Like,
I would think so.
Counterpoint, John. We got it wrong because we need more funding. You couldn't play it that way.
You could. Especially
You
with this administration, they totally give you money. All you have to do is just raise your hand. They'll give you anything you want. Like I just need. Oh, you're an American person. No, I meant science and other countries and stuff like that. No, not American.
Sorry.
Not American citizens. They don't get anything.
They don't get anything.
Sorry.
Not gonna lie.
Sorry. All right, well, to underscore the importance of why understanding the solar cycle can be of concern, a more active peak in solar activity could create disruptions on Earth. If large solar storms smash into our planet, they can cause radio blackouts, damage power infrastructure, irradiate airline passengers and astronauts, and knock out GPS and internet satellites, some of which could actually fall from the sky. That would be bad.
Yeah. Does that affect the water too?
A more active solar maximum therefore poses a larger hazard for these critical technologies and services. Wildlife experts have also warned that a more active solar maximum could disorient animals that rely on Earth's magnetic field to navigate, such as large whales and migrating birds. It could also cause people to order scooped bagels. To prevent further confusion, for the remainder of Solar Cycle 25, SWIPX will now shift to a more flexible forecast system for the first time in its history.
Whoa!
Which will be updated at the start of every month.
Oh, that's shocking.
Yeah, right.
Doing their jobs. Wow.
So, maybe they did get more funding. Who knows?
We got to correct this with more funding. Let's get it done. Okay. Yeah.
Your plan worked, Steve.
Yeah, right. See?
Oh my gosh.
Any last words we should be concerned about here, or are we putting our lives in the hands of idiots?
Yeah, enough said.
Yeah. Like I said, watch out for Fauciitis and make sure to take your 2 Noobs with all twice a day in order to get irradiated from Fauciitis.
But to protect your stomach, take it with scooped bagels each time.
Yes,
you go.
please.
Exactly.
Matt, since you're into buying, infected water, I went to the Atlantic Ocean and bottled some for you if you want to.
Oh, thank you. So now I just have to filter it and add a few more potassium chloride and.
Well, I figured you didn't want the magnesium whatever and the potassium chloride, so I just went straight for salt water. Since you have salt in your Dasani water as well, which I don't understand that either.
You make one purchase. One.
I'm still just blown away that the ingredient is not water. I mean, I once bought a milk carton. It said ingredients milk, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You figured water, especially that's the funniest part. Purified.
Yeah.
What's really troubling in all of this is that they don't give a percentage.
No,
they don't percentage. They don't. Why would they? Yeah, they don't give you a percentage on how much magnesium sulfate's in there, nor potassium chloride, nor salt.
And the potassium chloride was the one you said was toxic.
Yes.
Right. So
yeah.
So don't drink a 24-pack of Dasani in one sitting.
By the way, just so you know, the federal government is very clear and concise on this. It's none of your damn business what you put in your body. Just do it. They don't care. They're not going to tell you anything.
Oh my!
They just don't care.
Oh my!
All right, well
there you go.
For topic 2, we're going to head north of the border. We do not have an article for this, but this was some interesting news that's come out the last 2 weeks involving the Ottawa Senators. We'll start with the most recent piece of information first, which was I forget which day it was. The Senators were informed that they have been stripped of a first-round draft pick in their choice of either 2024, 2025, or 2026. And this is stemming from their trade of Yevgeny Dadonov to the Vegas Golden Knights in July of 2021. Now, what happened there? So when the Senators signed Dadonov to a contract in, I believe, 2020, he had a no-trade list, which had 10 teams listed on it. Vegas was not one of those teams, so they were free to trade Dadonov to the Vegas Golden Knights in July of 2021. However, the Vegas Golden Knights decided in March of 2022 that they no longer needed Dadonov's services and wanted to trade him to the Anaheim Ducks. But it turns out that the Anaheim Ducks were on Dadonov's no trade list.
Dun, dun, dun.
But the Vegas Golden Knights apparently didn't know this. Why? Because they never received the no trade list from the Ottawa Senators.
I was going to say either that or they knew they were cheating. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh, Mark Stone's magically coming off long-term IR just in time for the playoffs.
Who would have thought? Yeah.
But the trade of Dadonov to the Ducks was voided. The Vegas Golden Knights screamed bloody murder, and the Ottawa Senators were investigating. And it took 18 months for the NHL to come down with its penalty.
Wow.
Which is rather a long time, but made more interesting by the fact that the Senators were up for purchase during this time period. And in fact, the new owner, Michael Andlauer, has been the new owner for about a month at this point. So I guess they would have closed in probably September of this year.
Yeah.
He had some interesting things to say at a press conference where he fired the GM who was responsible for the mess with the Golden Knights trade. To quote him, he said, "Why I inherited this is beyond me. There is no reason for this to last this long. That's a question you'll have to ask the NHL why it took a whole year since the hearing. The commissioner had a lot of time to deliberate." He also said he was made aware of this ruling while he was undergoing his due diligence process before finalizing the sale of the Senators, but was told by the previous owners it would be a, quote, non-issue. "I don't know if a first rounder is a non-issue for you guys, but it is to me," he said. Maybe because the club was for sale and they didn't want to dispute the sale and making sure the seller got the biggest price possible, said Andlauer. "I don't know." Now, to his credit, he did admit that the Senators were negligent in this regard. It was their fault. However, he was not the owner at the time and seems to be a little ticked off that he was not made of the potential consequences before he shelled out, I assume, what was close to $1 billion for an NHL franchise. John, I'm going to sit back and let you rant on this one for a little bit.
We're gonna get a rant out.
And all that.
The owner's absolutely right.
Yeah.
If he would have heard, okay, so I got to give up a first round pick, and I'm getting a choice of that. Okay, well, you guys messed up, so we're gonna lower that price a little bit. Because I'm gonna need that little extra money because I need to sign a free agent because I'm not gonna get a draft choice, which would have been perfectly, that's what he should have done. But NHL looks a little dirty here, being, oh well, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. It's the GM. Absolutely, he should have fired him publicly, like in that press conference. That would have even been better. Like you out, bro. Like bring him in and like set him down and be like, so you know who's responsible? This guy.
Yeah,
he's why we don't have a first round pick. Get out. That would have been way better.
That would have been far more entertaining. Far more entertaining for sure. Yeah.
This guy seems like he's handling it well, but yeah, this looks really egg on face for the NHL. Like,
yeah.
Why? Especially the Ottawa franchise. How do you lose something that's connected to an email? Like, hey, his agent emailed it to you in his contract. It wasn't like it was like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a post-it note. Like after the contract signed, like that's in the freaking contract. And how do they not? I use email a lot. You don't lose things like you once did. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. I'm frankly shocked that the no trade list is not actually within the body of the contract itself.
That's what I'm assuming that it would have been. It would have either been an attachment to the end of it. Like, here's the contract. Yeah. Okay, hey, we need to put this in. So it would
Exhibit
be put
A,
in, but it still would be connected, right? In the inner emails between the team and the agent, I would assume.
Yeah. I would think so too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think about the whole 18 months that it took the league to resolve this?
That's ridiculous.
How long? My God.
I think it was because of the sale. They didn't want to. levy.
I wouldn't be shocked.
They didn't want to levy the penalty. In his when he was doing his due diligence, he found out about it, but I think it was like, hey, we're not going to do that until this kind of. And he's right, like trying to get the biggest price because I think they want it. Absolutely, the NHL wanted that ownership out, and I think they were very They wanted him in. It seemed like a good trade off for the NHL. So they just Gary Bettman used to be my favorite.
If you guys remember, the Senators have been for sale for a while because we actually did a discussion when Snoop Dogg was part of an ownership group that was trying to purchase the team.
Yeah,
and that was a while back.
That was a while back.
I would not be shocked if they were withholding this ruling solely for the purpose of getting it sold at maximum value. Because you're right. Yeah. Losing a first round pick, that's a valuable asset to a team.
For sure.
Shame on prior ownership if they knew that this was the potential penalty coming down the pike and kind of played it off. I would not be shocked. I don't know what the Canadian laws are up there, but I would not be shocked if Andlauer didn't sue the previous owners, for withholding critical information.
I mean, after this, I would definitely discuss it with my lawyer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the discussion you have as soon as wait a minute, these guys cost me a 10, maybe $15 million a year because now I have to take this angle that I could have relied on a pick to be better in a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it wouldn't have prevented him from buying the franchise.
No, but it would have been less. It would have
lowered the price for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. And I don't know. What I don't know is if the NHL gets some cut of the sale price.
I believe they do. I believe all the four major leagues. I do believe that there is some kind of because they have to. First of all, they have to vote for you to come in, and then there's some kind of I don't know. It's not like the Simpsons Secret Society where they all shake hands with goats or stuff, but it's something similar to that.
So but I don't know if it's like you get a percentage or if there's just some flat fixed fee, like $10 million or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a fixed rate because you have to, pay into the pool. It would just be like a fantasy football team. Like everybody pays and now you got an ownership of a team. It's similar to that.
Well, we don't know Canadian law, obviously, being here in America, but I mean, I wonder what would happen if it happened to an American franchise. Steve, do you think that it would be a warrant?
Absolutely.
For a sue? Yeah.
It's fraud. I mean, if you knew that was a potential penalty and you told them, hey, it's not going to be a big deal. And now you could get into, well, what's a big deal? And you're going to have to fight over whether a first round pick is a big deal. I think you could easily
make that argument that it would be.
I love John's argument, which is, well, I can't get a top end prospect now in the first round who I can pay at a relatively low salary for the first 5 years of his career because that's how the pay scale works. Yeah, now I have to go out to make my team better and sign a free agent for $10 million a year.
Yeah,
that's a decent argument.
Yeah,
I think it would have legs to it. Absolutely.
I think so.
Johnny's quote on The Simpsons though was spot on. It feels like he's Homer Simpson. He's being attached with the stone, and he's like dragging the stone, and he's like, "Remove the stone of shame, attach the stone of triumph."
That's bigger.
Ow!
That's probably what he had to do. He didn't have time to do the due diligence to find out if it was a first round pick because he was too busy running around with stones.
Right.
Yeah, I feel for this guy. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I would be pissed off more than anything else, and firing that, I mean, that GM has been awful up there. I mean, he did facilitate, obviously, and I feel bad for G because G's up there, and, and he's like, it's the end of his career. I think we all know that, it's like his last few years left, and I think he's local. Hearst, Ontario, I think is where he grew up. So it's like near Ottawa, kind of like a suburb of it. So, but yeah, it's like, oh God. They just can't get off. They just can't get out of their way up there. Just seems like. They had a couple decent cup runs with Daniel Alfredson years ago, but ever since then, since he left,
long ago.
Yeah, that had to have been like 7 or 8 years ago. Last time I went to a Stanley Cup or something like that. And yeah.
Well, this was just the second piece of bad news, as we discussed in the previous 2 weeks. So the week prior. restricted free agent of theirs, Shane Pinto, was handed a 41-game suspension, which is half this regular season, for violating NHL gambling protocols. And this one was another one where Andlauer was not given real good notice. Apparently, he was not made aware that this. He may have been aware that the investigation was ongoing, but again, not a potential penalty. And he also had some interesting things to say about the way the NHL handles gambling, which I think we've all seen the memes of Pinto being suspended for gambling when he's wearing a gambling sticker on his helmet for advertising.
Oh, that's totally separate, Steve. Don't worry about that.
So, yeah, right. Again, quoting Andlauer, it was about the timing when this happened that this young man was under investigation. The organization should have been made aware. Apparently, they were not. He did say the team will. Yeah, he did say the team will provide support to Pinto as he needs it. But he added, "You look at a young man who's making millions of dollars and represents millions of people in a community, but is 21 years old. You know." Let's say they're injured and they've got time on their hands and they've got millions of dollars and they've got a cell phone. And Wayne Gretzky gets on and MGM and talks about betting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem, isn't it, gents?
Yeah. I mean, unrelated to hockey, but wasn't it Phil Mickelson, like pretty much like millions upon millions of dollars of his own money?
Oh, it was close to $1 billion.
Almost like $1 billion of his dollars. And it's like, I mean, that's like a whole separate issue, but and the fact that, I think sports gambling is just one of the worst things that's ever been happening. It's like and you can't get away from it. It doesn't matter like what you're watching. Could be college football and you got money line running around somewhere.
That's the worst. TV is turned into what the money line is on the game that you're watching. The baseball playoffs were like that the whole time. They started off with who was plus and who was minus, and then as the game was going on, they were giving you update.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of gambling for myself. I just don't gamble. I understand that some people, I know people that are really good at it, and I I've watched them be really good at it for a really long time, and it's like, hey, do you, if you're making money off it, do it. Like, I have no problem. I'm not trying to I'll stay in my lane. You stay in yours.
You stay in your lane. Yeah.
But yeah, it's I could see it affecting a young kid with a couple $1 million.
For sure.
You got nothing to do. And Wayne Gretzky, well, we all know Wayne Gretzky, even though he got away with it and blamed it all on Rick Tocchet. We all know what Wayne can do.
Is that what happened?
And there was a story earlier in the year where when Michael Jordan stepped down from Charlotte, they were floating the idea out that he might have got in a little bit over his head on a couple wagers. And they... hey, buddy, you owe me about $4 million. Do you want to take less of a owner stake?
They never say never meet your heroes because you never know what what the stories that they've got, and oh boy, yeah.
I think it makes sports watchable for people that don't like sports. I think it ruins sports for young people that turn into adults to realize that not everybody likes sports.
Yeah.
Like it's
no, that makes sense. Yeah. No, you're right on. Yeah.
But I think you guys agree. I mean, it's a problem that I'm not sure anybody knows how to fix.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have the athletes gambling, particularly in not just on their own team, but in their sport.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna compromise the integrity.
Absolutely.
You're not going to know. I mean, we have enough gaffes already as it is with officiating and guys doing stupid shit and all kinds of stuff and weird things happening. We don't need on top of it. Well, I wonder if he, had money on the game. He missed that layup or whatever.
Someone famous in baseball had that happen to him, and look what I mean. He's not even he's never going to be in Cooperstown. I mean, that's a whole separate issue. So maybe that's a topic we could probably debate on. I don't know. Right.
So it's their right to prevent the athletes from betting in that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're taking money, advertising money, by letting these companies do their advertising on the helmets, on the jerseys, on the boards, on the scoreboards.
Be consistent
in the stadium.
Please be consistent. Yeah, and you're not, and that's the thing. It's like you can't have it one way and the other. You can't suspend a kid 41 games for doing something where he's advertising sports gambling. That makes absolutely no sense. It's just, and the memes, let them fly at this point. Make fun of the league, honestly.
Well, they need to be made fun of because they don't have a very good set. They remind me of very, very young NFL before Goodell took over, and they were just,
made it worse.
With it, he made it way worse. But
Calvin
literally would like you better catch the ball and run back to the sidelines and don't do it. Don't even show your face. Like that kind of stuff. Like that's where they're at now. They're like, don't gamble, but you're wearing DraftKings all over your jersey.
All over the place.
It's on your socks, it's on your skates, it's on the ice, it's everywhere. But don't you dare pick your cell phone up and think about gambling on a golf match in a faraway land where nobody even knows anything about it. Like that's the strange part about it. Like they're like, well, don't even do it. Don't even think about doing it. But your salary's coming from us just blanketing you like a Pepsi can, and it says gamble, but you're wrong. You're wrong for doing it.
So it's all over our broadcasts too, you know. So I mean,
but the kid is wrong. Nobody else is wrong. That's kind of like what that owner said. The league is literally pointing at the kid, being, "You're wrong," but like, is he the only one that made the mistake? No, probably a lot of rich people trying to make a lot of money made a mistake before he made the mistake.
Yeah,
I like that the owner brought that up because that's something that needs to be said.
Sounds like he's a good one up there. So maybe they'll get some stability up there in Ottawa. We'll see. But yeah, gosh, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess and a shit show, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I was scooping my bagel and gambling the other day, and
did you have any purified water while you were at it? I don't know.
Well, I poured the purified water into the scooped bagel. It made the lead and uranium-235 in the minerals added to the water was made it very tasty.
Yeah, no.
But now when I go to bed, my mouth glows green. So my wife has a hard time sleeping.
Don't worry about me, honey. I'm fine. Just mutating, that's all.
Well, speaking of weird.
Oh, it's the Return of the Weird File.
Return of the Weird File, topic 3.
Yeah.
You'll recall, I don't remember what episode it was. Matt figured it out for us.
Okay. I'll throw it up there in the card upper right corner.
Yeah, Wally, the emotional support alligator, tried to get into a Phillies game.
Not by himself.
And not by himself. Fair point. I'm glad you brought that up. He tried to get into a Phillies game, but was denied access. This was the end of September.
Yes.
And we all thought it was a good idea to not have an alligator brought into a sporting event with 47,000 people.
I still think it's not a good idea.
Well, apparently our hometown Flyers disagreed with us.
Yes.
Because they allowed Wally the alligator and his owner into a Flyers game recently, where not only was he in the game, but he was met and handled by the crazy orange mascot Gritty that we love so much.
Oh,
yes.
We have pictures as proof. Gritty, I think it was the Halloween game, so people could dress, and I think Gritty was in costumes. So we're putting up some pictures of Gritty holding Wally, the emotional support alligator, which I can't imagine what's going through the alligator's mind when this is happening.
I'm more fearful for the alligator than I am, to be honest.
You never know when you run across a Gritty, in that regard.
Apparently, I don't know if you guys know about the Lion King cam, which is when people hold their baby up to like do Simba from the Lion King
Good
and
Lord.
get on the arena vision,
The Jumbotron, yeah.
the Jumbotron, whatever you want to call it, the Jumbotron, John Chasey.
Yeah.
Apparently Gritty did use Wally for that.
Nice.
Also, I don't know if it's one of the ones we popped up here because that's all post-production, but he also, Gritty, dressed up as the crocodile hunter.
Yes,
for
he
Halloween.
did. Yes, he did.
Posed with Wally in quite the same style as Steve Irwin and his son now posed with the crocodiles.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, Matt, what do you think of this?
It's utterly hilarious that one organization denied Wally entry. To be honest, it's like 40,000 people. So you're going into an arena that's 20,000. So it's not that big of a deal.
Only
I
20
guess.
will get eaten, not 40.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, only 20,000 people, but with a horn that basically comes off a Carnival cruise ship.
Yeah.
It goes off every time a goal is scored.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, every once in a while. No, it's a hilarious story. I mean, for this guy to come back into the owner again, to come back into the news again, and he's like, I think he's determined to do it in every venue. I think the next thing you're going to see is a Sixers one. And the next thing after that is he'll going to try Eagles, but I don't think that's going to even remotely happen. There's no way Wally is making it in unless it's a sideshow act, unless he's signed in as a sideshow act. Because then you've got like 70,000 people in that building. And I mean, no, I don't see that happening. But
where do we play the Chiefs?
Arrowhead in Kansas City.
Yeah. That would make sense.
I was going to
Buffalo,
say,
though.
we could let him in and we could put him in Taylor Swift's box.
That would be hilarious.
Freak her out. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Buffalo might be the Buffalo game. We'll see. No, it's funny. I mean, it's weird that I find it weird that two separate Philadelphia sports teams did two exactly different things when handling this alligator. Right. One denying, one accepting. It's utterly hilarious.
One denying and the other not only accepting.
Yeah. Embracing
him in the hands of Gritty.
This is what a Keith Jones run organization looks like. It took me a minute, but
Keith Jones. We love Keith Jones.
No, it's the reality. He will entertain. He is
absolutely.
As a hockey player, as a radio host, as a CEO, the man will entertain. He gets hockey and he gets fans and he gets people. So it doesn't shock me that it probably went right up to him and he was like, why wouldn't we let the what are we doing? Like, want to just look like those guys? Like,
I could see him sitting back with that silly grin.
Yeah.
That silly grin he does.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, he knows. He's like,
the wheels are turning.
He's like, oh, Wally the alligator. Yeah,
$20 says he bites him like that would be Keith Jones.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I love
even
the
more bizarre. It's even more bizarre that they would let Gritty handle Wally the alligator after we saw, and Matt's going to put this down here, video of Gritty at the zoo. Riling up the animals. I mean, he gets a snow leopard up on its back paws, going at the glass, and the best one is the Philadelphia Zoo has an overhead walkway that the big cats can take to kind of get different places in the park.
Yeah,
and he's got the tiger. The tiger is like jumping back and forth. Like, what the hell is that thing? And you're gonna let him touch an alligator? What the hell?
He is a national treasure, Steve. That's the thing. Gritty is a national treasure.
I agree, but you're putting him in harm's way.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The last thing you want him in is a lion cage or a lion's den or whatever the case may be. You don't want Gritty mauled to death, but I mean, my God. I mean, the reaction of these are like predatory animals here. And they are freaking out over this guy, going like, they're like freaking out over him. Crazy.
So they handed him an alligator.
Is it the googly eyes? Is it the eyes that point all around? Is it the thrust of the the hips? I don't know. What is it about him that that makes animals go crazy? That's something the animals will have to interview, I guess, on Too Noobs.
I think he makes people go crazy. I mean, he doesn't make any sense. I never thought that I would even remotely care about the Flyers mascot. It just didn't seem like ever, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's just what is that? And then I don't know, it took about 3 weeks. That tweet,
sleep with one eye open, bird. Yeah,
like that was that I was like, ooh, who's he? And then I started to watch him, and I'm a fan now. And I'm very skeptical with mascots, but I'm a fan. Yeah. I don't know why they handed him an alligator. I'm blaming Keith Jones directly on this podcast.
Well,
it's the only guy I'm looking at.
Yeah. That's the scary part. We've handed Gritty ammunition. He's got an alligator now. Now he's really dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Penguin better really watch out. But Wally has gone to schools and senior homes, so maybe it's not.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. So he's making the rounds, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, with Gritty, he's a celebrity too. I mean, I remember being with Steve at the Stadium Series game, which probably was the best Flyers game I've ever attended in person in my life. Especially when they were 3-1 down the Penguins and they choked the lead off, and it was just wonderfully awesome. Yeah. Hey, and by the way, Pittsburgh is like, you see over my shoulder there, last place.
Bad.
Love it as of the time of this recording. But Gritty stole the show, right, Steve? I mean, he came down from the rafters of the Lincoln Financial. Mm-hmm. He streaked naked across the.
I could have done without that, but
well, yeah, everybody could. He stole the show. He was great. Great night for sure.
This just in, gentlemen. Gritty and Wally were almost removed from Rigby's Waterworld for attacking a patron. However, it was determined that this patron was scooping bagels and flying on magic mushrooms. However, Gritty and Wally were later evicted from the water park for breastfeeding in the lazy river.
Oh, goodness.
Remember, the alligator doesn't bite yet.
Well, that's good because that could chafe.
Yeah.
Well,
oh man,
I just
we've gone off
realized
the details already.
It's late. It's been a long day.
Yeah, for sure.
Topic 4. Funny how we're ending on an LA Times article here.
Funny,
deals with food. When I didn't even put those two together when I ranted about the scooped bagel earlier.
Yeah,
this is just funny.
It's unbelievable.
LA Times article: Don't pre-tip on delivery. Don't expect your food quickly. DoorDash warns.
That's a little arrogant, but
Americans are tipping their delivery drivers less often than they did last year. DoorDash is seeking to reverse that trend with an automated nudge, one that carries a hint of a threat. The food delivery service is testing out a new in-app warning that encourages non-tipping customers to rethink their decisions. Customers selecting a $0 tip while placing orders now see a pop-up message cautioning that orders without tips might take longer to be delivered.
Okay, this company is a bunch of dicks, but go on.
Orders with no tip might take longer to get delivered. Are you sure you want to continue? The pop-up reads. Dashers can pick and choose which orders they want to do. Orders that take longer to be accepted by Dashers tend to result in slower delivery. The new DoorDash pop-up doesn't change anything about ordering on the app or the delivery experience. It's a warning for customers about what may go on behind the scenes. Already, DoorDash drivers, also known as Dashers, can see how much money they can expect to make from a delivery before accepting an order. If the payout looks low, it might take longer for a Dasher to accept the order. John, you indicated in pre-production you have experience with DoorDash.
Yeah.
So I'll let you speak to this first.
Maybe it's just me, but I don't need a pop-up to know if I'm not gonna $3 and a $10 tip comes in in around the same area, I would have words with that DoorDash person and be like, what are you, stupid? Like, that one, then you do this one. Like,
Right?
make money. I understand. But they are not really good at what they do. DoorDash, not the Dashers. The Dashers, I've had no issues with DoorDash as the Dashers. My stuff comes normally the same time. They tell me it's gonna be 20 minutes. It's normally 20 minutes on the dot. Everybody's friendly. Everybody's fine. The app in itself is awful, and I don't even know why they're putting their 2 cents into this. They should just take the order like they're supposed to, give it to the people, and the people will handle it the way they handle it. I don't understand why they're coming out. Oh, it's gonna take a little longer. Yeah, well, don't tip $0. Tip $1. Give them something. Them coming out during inflation saying this makes them look awful.
Yeah.
It makes them look greedy and awful. It really does. Like, if they would have said this maybe 4 or 5 years ago when, money wasn't so tight, I don't think anybody would pay attention to it. But you're in the height of people worrying about gas prices and grocery bills and car payments. You're going, well, you're going to have to wait if you don't tip. Come off kind of douchey.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I would tend to agree, Johnny. I think that's why I was just so flabbergasted by the fact that they were, it's essentially forcing people to tip. That may or may not affect the temperature of certain foods. Now, people can throw in food to a microwave oven and reheat it. That's fine. But part of it is like you get you get it as if you're in a restaurant. If I'm right on that or something along those lines. It's kind of like it's hot and ready to go, essentially. If you're hot.
It's similar to as if you went and picked it up yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exactly
not as if you were
like
eating.
That, yeah.
It's not like you were eating in.
Got it.
It's never gonna come that fresh.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're basically paying someone else to bring it for you instead of getting it yourself.
Yeah.
Is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Dashers are not told precisely how much a customer is tipping, but experienced delivery drivers can tell when something looks unusually low. Gig workers who offer driving services already use their discretion when deciding which jobs to take on, with many competing apps vying for their services. So that's interesting. I didn't know that, it's probably DoorDash and Uber Eats have the same drivers. As independent contractors, Dashers have full freedom to accept or reject offers based on what they view as valuable and rewarding, Jen Rosenberg, a company spokeswoman, said in a statement.
Okay.
While the vast majority of customers do leave a tip, offers that don't include a tip can be seen as less desirable. This impacts our entire community, leading to longer wait times for customers, orders sitting longer at merchants, and less value for Dashers. Now, here's the interesting part. The current model disadvantages customers who prefer to tip in cash and those who tip after an order has been delivered based on the quality of service.
Yeah.
At the same time, it offers transparency to drivers whose incomes are tied to the jobs they accept. So we have kind of conflicting interests here.
Yeah.
I will admit, I think I've done DoorDash maybe twice.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of it because the fees are high.
Are outrageous. Yeah.
On top of the food you're paying for.
Huh.
But
like what,
in
like
every
what
every instance, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, what kind of fees are like added to the order?
Delivery fees,
delivery
fees, and then
DoorDash
fees. Yeah, and then it could be upwards to $13, $14. It could be upwards to that. Yeah, and that's without tip. That's with the fees of the convenience of the service. That's one thing me and my wife did to save money. We just stopped using the services.
Yep.
Like it was very simple. It was like, hey, you know how to save money? Don't do that because
don't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
If you're feeling especially lazy, maybe you do it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you can get it yourself.
If I'm on the road and I worked all day and I'm at a hotel and there isn't anything in walking distance, will I? Probably, but it won't be like my major meal plan at any time. Yeah. Like, hey, I'll just dash something. Go just pick something on the way to the hotel. You just pick something up normally.
But what I was going to say was, and I, in all the instances, I believe I have left a tip on the app. just because I rarely ever carry cash anymore. And so it's just simpler to put it on there instead of having to fumble and find dollar bills laying around the house.
Sure.
But in every instance where I've used the service or something like it, I don't know if it was exactly DoorDash or something else. I don't recall them ever actually coming to the door and knocking and having an interaction with me. They always leave it at the doorstep.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So even if I was going to give them a cash tip, they never came to the door. I couldn't have handed it to them.
Sure.
And maybe they did it because I had already tipped on the app, but I don't know that for certain.
Yeah.
So it
seems kind of weird. I mean, I personally would have never, like, it almost sounds to me like it's a forced tip. You know, like it's part of this, it's part of the whole, like, in order to get your food, you have to do this. And to me, it's all about, you know, Steve, you rightly pointed out in the article, you got two competing things in regards to that. One is regards to service. Other is whether or not it's part of the, not independent of service. It's part of the charge, essentially, like that. And, you know, I think we grew up in an era where you gave a tip to a pizza delivery guy who you know that, okay, you know, you're tired. You don't want to drive over to the pizzeria to get a pizza, right? You'll have someone come out to you, you know, and they got the, you know, they bring in the bag or whatever, and you give them a tip of like, okay, I'll give you $5, you know, something along those lines. And, you know, that's the old school way of doing it. And this newer school way, to me, it just, I don't know. I have a hard time accepting its premise, because my thought process goes to like people that are shut in, that can't go out, that, you know, or don't have the physical ability to go out. And it's like, now all of a sudden this DoorDash CEO is basically saying, well, you know what, screw you. If you can't give us a tip, you know, it may not come as fast as you want. And I'm thinking like, well, what are we talking about here? We're talking about feeding people. You know, that's really what it's all about here at the end of the day. And it's like, I don't, what difference does it make, you know, as to whether or not they put a tip on it or not? I get it. If some people are idiots, but the other part of me is like, if you're on fixed income or if inflation's high, guess what? You're cutting back. I don't care who you are. You know, you want to be able to save your money. It's your money. You know, you can do with it as you wish, you know, in that regard. So,
well, my response to that is if you're looking to save money, don't flip and do DoorDash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that simple. You know, go get it yourself. Like,
or have seriously. A relative go over there and give it for you, or a friend or something along those lines. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a poor excuse not to tip somebody. But the article does conclude DoorDash pop-up comes as attitudes toward tipping are shifting. And Americans are tipping less frequently than they did a year ago, according to a Bankrate survey from June. 50% of respondents said they always tipped their food delivery drivers in 2023, down from 57% in 2022 and 59% in 2021. 7% of respondents said they never tipped delivery drivers, and 18% said they do only sometimes. The survey found that two-thirds of U.S. adults have a negative view of tipping.
Wow.
30% think that tipping culture has gotten out of control, and 41% believe that businesses should pay employees better rather than relying so much on tips. Well, that last part I agree with.
I agree with too.
I won't say I agree with some of what they're saying. I totally do. It has gotten completely out of hand.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, the receipts you get printed out at certain places, and I think we've discussed this before, whether it was on the podcast or not, where you're asking for a tip for something that is just not tippable.
What was it at Buffalo Wild Wings had a convenience fee or something like that?
It was it was a carry-out tip. You were carrying out your own food, and you were tipping them so you could carry out your own food. There was an article I was reading. I didn't send it to you guys because I think we went with this one, and I was reading this one, and then it took me to another one where it was either a gas station or something that it was in some state, and it was asking for a tip as you're paying for your, like, so where it goes like you get like your whatever, you get your soda, you get your, you know, cheeseburger or whatever you're getting, and you're there and you stick your card in and it says, is this amount correct? And then as soon as you hit yes, it flipped over and said, "Would you like the tip?" And it has the 000, and you could put or say no. And that article was talking about people are hitting yes because it's face to face and they don't want to look like an idiot. So they tip a dollar or whatever and run away. The culture is getting out of hand that way that it would be logged in. Like, if I'm getting a water at a gas station, I'm not tipping you. I carried the water up. You scanned it.
Yes.
Watch out for that magnesium sulfate, John.
Yeah.
Just saying. Regards to that water.
No, you're right. That's what I'm talking about. Is like interactions you have where tipping had never been
talked about
part of the game.
Yeah.
And you're right. If I'm coming to you, getting the thing out of the refrigerator, bringing it up to your counter, and all you're doing is
all
going,
the legwork. I'm doing all the legwork.
Right? I'm not tipping you.
Yeah, another one. Another
if someone brings you a
restaurant around
cheesesteak
here,
at
guys.
10, you're tipped. Like, you're getting tipped as well because it's late. I'm hungry. Thank you for not making me get off the couch. You can have money.
Yeah.
Right.
To that point, in regards to tipping, guys, there's a local, I guess you could say it's an eatery place called Honey Grill. It's a salad spot. And they now, when you want to place an order for a salad, which costs like $12, by the way, which is unbelievable. Lettuce, it's out of control. But they place it on, I'll never forget, it's a touch screen, and you go to a tip, and it's like, this helps, and they basically give you the typical 14, 16, 18, 20%. These tips help our staff out. And I'm thinking, really? That's what it does? I'm thinking, wow,
that's
you're underpaying your
job.
staff. And exactly. And now you're broadcasting for your customer base to see that any additional tip helps out the kitchen staff. Got it. Okay, so you're underpaying your kitchen staff. You're openly admitting to your customer base, we are underpaying our kitchen staff. The people that are sitting out there and cutting all that lettuce and frying all that food. Give me a break on that. That's ridiculous.
So we're underpaying our kitchen staff, so we need you to fork over more of your money.
Help us out here a little bit.
Voluntarily, instead of us charging what we probably should be charging for the food, you need to not look like a douchebag by not tipping.
The problem is they're charging $12 for a salad, asking for a tip. So they've already maximized their salad. We can't charge any more for this because nobody's going to eat it.
It's a decent sized salad. It's like this
That's
big.
good.
I mean, it's decent size. Yeah.
No salad is worth $12.
Yeah, no.
Well, they stuff it with all kinds of crap.
Did you guys see the
$12? You better have some freaking protein in there, man.
Did you see the McDonald's thing? Just speaking of stuff, did you see that they are now like so priced the regular person out? Like, there's internet rage going on. Like, I'm not paying $18 for a Big Mac meal. Like, McDonald's has lost their mind. Like, I think that's what has happened. This tip culture has kind of tipped the scales, no pun intended, to now they're like, well, we got to pay our employees X amount of dollars. So now your Big Mac's going to be $18. And people are going, you guys made this mess yourself. We're just going to eat over here. Like, we're not going to eat there. And I think that's what's going to happen with DoorDash. People are just going to be like, well, hey, I'm going to order it a little early. I'm going to pick it up, or I'll pick it up on my way home. That's something I do a lot. Like, I think, I don't want to leave the house when I get home. So, hey, what do you want to do for dinner? Oh, you want In-N-Out? Cool. I'll stop on my way. Boom, get it. Then we eat it.
Done. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Amazing times that we're living in, gentlemen, with all this tipping. It's like, I think it is something that we need to just, I think we do need to pump the brakes. It's a matter of just not jamming on the anti-locks. That's the only thing. You got to slow this down somehow. I don't know how, but you just have to slow it down, I think. And maybe inflation. Someone needs to pop the tire. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Might be a little scary to do that, but anyway.
Well, that about does it for our MLB-sized Two Noobs Talking episode.
How do we do a whole season? My God, that's crazy.
Who? Anybody win a title? Like, did Slugger? No, nobody. Anybody?
No.
Nothing. No.
Oh,
I'm not good at anything, so you know.
I get to Cy Young.
There you go.
there you
That's
go.
what I got.
I think I bunted somebody over from first to second to put a guy in scoring position once, but that was pretty much it.
And all
I
I'll say
think.
with the MLB thing,
Matt sacrificed. Yeah.
the greatest meme in the history of the world right now is Kyle Schwarber running from first to second, followed by the stitch of Ted running. It makes me laugh every time.
Love
I
it.
can't get enough.
I
of
like
it.
I like the one where he's running and they have the Squidward.
Yes, that's
That's a good one.
I could
They
watch
also have
Kyle
one where
Schwarber
it was
run around
like-
the bases every day.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the one where Bryce is running the bases and he's like you could see he as he's breathing he's like and every time he kind of opens his mouth he's like they dub it over and he goes yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I assumed that he would be doing while he was running.
That's great. Love it. Oh man.
All right, so that wraps it up. We'll be back for the postseason 163.
Wildcard spot.
We're gonna start. Huh?
Yeah.
Wildcard spot.
Wild card spot. All right. So we'll be back next week with some more fun stuff. But until then, Matt and John, do you have anything fun to leave our viewers and listeners with? Or are you just gonna
Two
sit there
noobs
with
with all. Make sure to watch Two Noobs. Take two Noobs in the morning, and you'll be fine at Frauchiitis.
And it's
And you
Gavin
go to
Newsom.
Two Noobs. Yeah.
Gavin Newsom's
Go
song.
ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
TwoNoobs.wordpress.com. That's the
Yes.
website, TwoNoobs.wordpress.com. You get all the access to all the old episodes through YouTube, and maybe we'll find some scooped bagels. I don't know.
Yeah.
But until next week, we shall proceed with our potassium chloride.
Hey everyone, thank you for spending time with us here at Two Noobs Talking. If you want more information on what Two Noobs Talking is exactly, the good news is we have a website address. It's located at twonoobstalking.wordpress.com. Links to all of our previous episodes are there, along with some interesting information about the terrific trio of hosts. Please feel free to make a comment about this week's episode too. We would love to hear what you have to say. Have a great week, and we hope to have you back next week for another great episode of Two Noobs Talking. Take care.